Hello there. Welcome to this grim live stream that I wanted to do just because it kind of drove me to it. Where to start? Where to start? I know. Should we start here? Should we start there? Or maybe we should start here. Or just for good measure, should we start here? This football club is going to be the death of me and probably so many other people around around the world. There's Everton fans all over the globe, and they're being let down. They're being let down by this manager. They're being let down by this team. Excuse me, I'm not in the rest. I've got a bit of flu, so right. Let's just dig in here. This the Bournemouth game. If you look at the times on the goal scored, you can take that. Excuse the language or whatever, but shit happens. You can take it. Stuff happens in football. Fair enough. You know, it happens. It happens under Carlo Ancelotti when we played Newcastle and they scored. We were 2-0 up. They scored 2 goals in stoppage time, and it ended up 2-2. And in his post-match interview, Carlo Ancelotti actually said, "These things happen in football." Right. This is what I can't take. This is what I can't take. As a coach, if you're the coach of a football team, and your team have just lost a 2-goal lead and lost the game, my first thing would be that it can't happen again. And it goes and it happens again. The Aston Villa game, obviously, we were 2-0 up. It was slightly different, a bit of a, obviously, no disrespect to Bournemouth, but obviously Villa in the Champions League, they're in a bit of a, well, a bit of a better squad, etc. But we've lost a 2-goal lead again. It's just unbelievable that they've done it 2 games in a row. Then, then we'll move on to this. We will move on to the latest shit show. This is a home against the team that haven't won a game in the Premier League either. They're on 0 points. 1-1, lost 6-5 on penalties. I've seen people saying, Ashley Young needs to get out the club for missing the penalty. I don't agree with that. I do agree he needs to get out the club, but I don't think he needs to get out the club for them reasons. I just think he's been really poor. He's made a lot of poor decisions, and that's the reason that I think it's time for him to go. We're at home against a team who, let's be honest, the confidence is like ours. It's on the floor, and they've got nearly 75% possession away from home. 11 shots, 4 on target. We haven't got to the best bit yet. Much better passing accuracy than Everton. Is this going to show this? No, it's not. Southampton made 700 and odd passes in that game yesterday. Everton made 200 and something passes. Nearly treble what Everton made. Everton were the home side, and they've made nearly 3 times as many passes. We've made them look like Barcelona last night. And I think we were pretty lucky to take it to penalties, to be honest with you. Ashley Young's penalty, it wasn't the best. These things happen, but as soon as I seen Ashley Young stepping up to take a penalty, I knew what was coming. I knew that was it, and we are out of another competition. It wasn't a competition I expected us to win, but I thought it could have been a good confidence booster going in to the Leicester game at the weekend. So we are on the floor. We've played. We just get the table up. We've played 4 games with points, and our goal difference is -9. Games, 4 defeats. How much longer? How much more do this Everton board want to take before they start making the necessary changes? Are they going to wait till 10 games, 20 games? What is going on? Is there even anyone there to actually sack him? Because it's clear he wants out of the club. So he's an outsider looking in. Just he just wants out. I'm just trying to be careful what I say. Royston Marshall. Not sure what to say after leading your last Premier League games 2-0 and then ended up losing both games. What do you say anymore? Well, what do you say? There's nothing to say then. What the fuck is going on? Absolute. It is an absolute joke of we are the laughing stock of the Premier League at the moment. We are, and we can score goals. We've scored goals in the past 3 games. In fact, we scored 7 goals in the past 3 games. We scored 3 against Doncaster, 2 at Bournemouth, and 2 at Aston Villa. So we can score goals. It's keeping them out the other end. That seems to be the problem. Now, the good news is Gerard Bradley's back in training, so that can only mean a good. That can only be a positive. Um, I've seen a lot of people criticising Michael Keane. Um, he has been at fault for some of the goals, but it's hard to fully criticise him from contributions he's made in the past. The goal against Crystal Palace when we had that must-win game on that Thursday night towards the end of the 22-23 season. Yeah, I think that was it. When we get beat 2-0, Michael Keane scored a crucial goal there that ignited that 3-2 comeback. So it's hard to actually properly go in on him, but at the same time, he just his performances just haven't been there to what's required. I don't think playing a right footer at left centre back as well is not ideal. Uh, why has Everton bought Jake O'Brien if they're just going to leave him on the bench? I know he played last night, but in the Premier League, why have they bought him if they're just going to leave him on the bench? Because he's clearly a big unit. He's obviously hungry and he wants to get going. It's mind-boggling. Gerard Brandt's on his way back. Patterson is back on the grass as well. I've seen it reported. So that could be a positive at right back. But again, I don't want to be this big moaner, but I don't think Patterson, he's not too bad going forward. But I think when defensively, he does get found out. So that is not a long term. I don't think personally that's a long term answer. Getting Patterson and keeping him fit because he does get injured quite a lot as well. I think he's been injured more often than he's been fit at the club. He just seems to be a bit injury prone. But Seamus Coleman, love him. Obviously, he's an he's Everton through and through. But he's at the latter stage of his career, and you can't keep relying on a player that's 35, 36, something like that, to keep pulling you through because it's getting found out the way it is now. Excuse me, sorry, I've got a bit of flu, so I'm just a bit snuffly. However, this was reported yesterday, and it's not all. We've kind of got the doom and gloom out the way. I did just want to, if it works, here we go. I did just want to share this with you as well. Excuse me. Right, so just say that US billionaire and Roma owner Dan Friedkin has reignited his plan to buy Everton. Having only ended his interest in the club in July. Now, if you're not familiar with this, he done this to Roma. He went to buy them and then he stopped and then he went back. So this is not the first time he's done something like this. And if you follow Italian football, you will know that Daniel De Rossi has been sacked as his role as Roman manager because they are in a pretty similar position to Everton, the bottom of the league, and they haven't won a game yet. So their Friedkin group look like they're not people who want to mess about. And if they think something's not working, they'll change it. That's what we need. That is what we need. We need someone who's going to be decisive with plans. And if something's not working, they'll change it. It seems like let me just have a look at this one. Sorry, just comments coming. The stadium is looking great. Is that the channel or the Everton stadium? I'm joking. But Everton has the same problem as has. Building new stadiums, your best players will go. And then going to Villa was hard to watch. And then he goes on to say, I sell players to pay for the stadium. I don't think they sell players to pay for the stadium, to be honest. I think that they sold players to meet their fire SFP rules so they didn't get another points deduction. That's why Villa sold then the midfielder to us, and then we sold Dobbin to them for £10 million. I don't know how much. I don't know how we got that for Dobbin, but we did, and it was a bit of a loophole that the clubs found to get in the brackets they need to be for the financial fair play. Going to turn this on. So, what do you actually think of what we've said? Do you think this Friedkin group is actually going to go ahead? Bear in mind, they've already pulled out once, but as I say, they've done that with Roma. They went for them, they cooled their interest, and then they went back and then took over. It seems like it is mirroring what's happened with Everton at the moment. However, there is another interesting party reportedly. I've just seen the Crystal Palace co-owner John Textor also trying to pursue a purchase of Everton Football Club. Seeing reports that Jay-Z was going to be involved in that deal. Not sure how that's going to work or whether that's going to materialise. The other thing as well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin on Saturday, I thought he had a great game. I thought he was holding the ball up well. But as a Premier League striker, if you're through on goal, you have to make them chances count. He didn't need the keeper never even had to make a save. He was through twice. Martinez didn't even have to make a save. It just shows a striker that's low in confidence, in my opinion. Even had he'd scored early on in the game, so you would think that his confidence would be up there, but it just wasn't. And he he let a built out cutting edge chance go. He took too long. The defender got back, and the chance had gone. So, and then he hit the bar when we were 3-2 down again. Bullied the defender off the ball, got through, and he hit the bar. And obviously, we went on to lose another game. We had a former player on one of our live streams on Monday, and he was saying that the chances you get, you've got to at least make the goalkeeper make a save. It's either got to be a goal or it's got to be a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. There's no in between. In my opinion, obviously I've never played the game they had, and that's what they were saying. Maybe he's had too much time to think about it because he was on his own for a little while. There you are, 3 out of 4 games, 2 in the club, and not a win to show for any of them. I'm just at a loss to where they go from here, because just excuse me for 1 second. Just one moment. I will be back in 2 seconds. Gonna unmute myself. As I say, sorry, I've got a bit of a flu coming on or something, so I just needed to clear me sinuses, should we call it. So we're back. We're still without any points. Now, this brings me on to my next point that I want to make. And this is probably the most worrying part, because I'm sure a lot of you who are watching, I'm sure a lot of you have been to Goodison Park, and when things aren't going well, it's not the nicest place to visit. Now, I'm saying that, and I'm saying that for a reason, because the Everton supporters are probably some of the most passionate supporters. They want the team to do well so badly that sometimes when it's not going so well, it can at times produce a negative energy in the stadium. Now, this brings me on to this. So, our last 4 games, we've been ahead 4 times. We lost the Bournemouth one. Okay, we beat Doncaster. We lost the Aston Villa one. We drew the Southampton one, but lost on penalties. So, if Everton do get ahead in the game on Saturday at Leicester, I almost wish it was away. And this is the reason why I do almost wish it was away. If Everton get ahead on Saturday, I do think there's going to be so much nervousness around the stadium. Um, I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm sure you have. And as much as some people will hate to admit it, Everton for the past how many seasons have been a team that will pass side to side and backwards, and then they'll go long, or sometimes they'll work it through, but mainly they go side to side and they'll go backwards. Some of the Everton fans, they don't like it. When they pass back, people start groaning. People start groaning. It builds, and I believe it feeds that energy feeds onto the pitch, and you can see it. The players they start twitching and they start second guessing themselves. Um, that's my worry. That even if we are ahead, with the playing the other way, where they're playing it backwards, side to side, and people do start like groaning and stuff like that. I think it really could unnerve the players. That is my biggest fear for Saturday because had 3 leads and we've let 3 leads slip. So I do hope if we are ahead that everyone in the stadium tries to push the team on rather than thrown at the maybe the some people call it negative play. But if you're ahead, you just want to calm it down and try and keep that foothold in the game you've got. And other things as well. If someone's playing the ball up to one of the midfielders and they've got the back to the opposition, they've got the back to the opposition goal, and you just hear thousands of people turn, and then they'll pass it back because someone's on them or something, and then again the grounds will start, and that negative energy will feed on to the pitch. Hopefully, we can have Gerard Brandweight back in the defence for Saturday, but let's see what happens there. One thing we don't want to do is rush him back, and then he's out for even longer. I remember previous manager, I think it was Frank Lampard, kept rushing Calvert-Lewin back, and he ended up being out for months. We don't want that. Another thing that I wanted to address as well, Royston Marshall. I'll come to your comment in a second. I have seen it, and I will come to that in one moment. Another thing I did want to point out, I have seen again. I'm involved in members of lots of Everton groups on social media like Facebook and stuff like that, and I've seen a few people question, why has he played that team? He just wants to get himself sacked, etc., etc. This is Sean Dyche, by the way. He actually come out last night and said 3 first-team players were actually uh, ill last night, and that's why they didn't play. So, making that what you will. I think another thing that last night showed us is we need a decent backup goalkeeper. Yao Virginia was, you know what? A couple of seasons ago, Pickford was injured and Yao Virginia played, and it was actually against Manchester City, and he had the game of his life. It was like That sounds because we need a decent backup goalkeeper. Obviously we've got England's number one in between our sticks, who saved us on countless times. But at times, if he's ill or injured, whatever, we need a decent backup. We can just go right. That sounds because he can do a job. But I think last night he just he was nowhere near their goal, and I don't think he got anywhere near one of their penalties either. So that needs it as well. But I think the performances that Everton have been putting in, some of them they haven't been bad performances. The Bournemouth game for the first half, they were superb. Even like the first half and the second half, they were superb. And then Bournemouth made their 5 changes, and then you could just see them slowly. Bournemouth were slowly getting to grips with the game. They were only 2-0 down. And then Sean Dyche, for whatever reason, decides to take Ndiaye off and Inge Bowman. And then it just all went to shit. See, I don't want to bang on about it too much, but I've got a theory about about the Bournemouth game itself. If he would have kept Ndiaye and Inge Bowman on till the end, we wouldn't have lost that game. Because I don't know whether you're there or whether you've obviously probably watched the game. Ndiaye helped out Mikalenko so much in that game defensively. That's why Bournemouth were they didn't know what to do. They couldn't get into the game for that reason. And obviously, Inge Bowman, he was box to box, and he looks to be a great signing. As soon as they withdrew them, and they bought Decore on, and I forget who else it was, but they bought Decore on. Decore wasn't getting back out Mikalenko. So then Mikalenko come exposed to their team like players, and it's just imploded from there with that. So I think the manager's substitutions as well need looking at, because let me just remind myself of I've just gone off it 1 second. Let me just remind myself of the substitutions he made last night, because it was like, I know he bought better of him, but put a defender out. Like, where's the summary for this? Where's this tell you the subs? Oh, Sky Sports is how we are teams. My bad teams. He bought off better, and he bought Ashley Young on. So he's took off a striker and bought a winger turned left back, right back, wherever we can get a game. What the hell? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, the kids do need some game time, but he started with Harrison Armstrong when he had Jack Harrison and Igabonham on the bench. I don't know whether they were part of the two sickness players, but taking a striker off and putting a defender on when it's a cup game, you're at home. What's going on? What is going on? Some of his decision making with substitutions at times, it can just leave you scratching your head. It really can. I'm just looking at the Aston Villa game and the substitutions. He's brought better on and took Ndiaye off. Obviously we were behind at this point, so that's not too shocking. But the substitutes sometimes are just mind-boggling that this man makes. In my opinion, I do think it's time to start looking for a new manager. So, Royston, if Sean is sacked, what proven manager takes over? Considering any new manager coming in will want £100 million to spend on players that he wants. Well, not necessarily, because there are managers at clubs that haven't got money to spend that have taken over clubs. Um, so what do we do? Do we just sit with what we've got and then just hope for another miracle escape from relegation? Well, what's the answer here? What do we do with it? Do we just sit it out and see if it gets better? You know, something's got to change. The biggest thing for me is it's happened once with Bournemouth. The very next league game, it's happened again. We've lost to 2-goal leads again. Now, surely, surely, as a coach or a manager of a team, you've got to be concentrating on that not happening again. And then it's happened again in the next game, in the next league game. So what is the answer? We just sit it out and end up like Burnley down in the Championship, turning into a bit of a yo-yo club. Because if we go down, Pickford goes, Calvert-Lewin will go. A number of the players will go. They'll go because they're going to be playing at the top level. They won't want to be going down to the second tier of English football. They will leave, and then what do we do? Do we just get mediocre replacements in and turn into a Norwich City who are up and down all the time? What what is the answer? But I don't think the answer that we need and the answer we're looking for, I don't think it lies in Sean Dyche. Last season, I was all for Sean Dyche. We had them positions. The team picked themselves up a few times, and if we never had them points deductions, we would have finished mid-table. The squad we've got, that would have been, I would have accepted that. I would have just went, you know what? I'm happy with that under the circumstances and the thing we've got. But this season, it's just, I think he's been showing up for them. He's been showing up, and now the proof's in the pudding. We're bottom of the league after 4 games. We haven't won a game. We've been in winning positions at least 2 times, and we're -9 on goal difference. There's nothing more to say. The Brighton game, losing 3-0, I think it was, and then the Tottenham game 4-0. I didn't expect, and I'm a realist. I didn't expect anything from the Tottenham game, to be honest. I knew, I had a good idea that we'd not win that game, but I was sorry, you're going to hear it again. Do apologise. I was not expecting to lose in the manner they did. 4-0 away from home. One shot on target. The first 2 games, Everton had 3 shots on target over them first 2 games, the whole games. And then obviously, they have started scoring goals, but now they can't keep a lead. Not in the Doncaster game, they haven't kept a clean sheet all season. And let's be honest, no disrespect to Doncaster Rovers, but as a Premier League team, you would expect to be keeping a clean sheet over the League Two sides. There, I said it. But, you know, if we're being real, you would, as a Premier League fan, expect to be keeping a clean sheet against the League Two side. But all the other games conceded. And then obviously the penalty shootout last night knocked us out of the League Cup. which would be a blessing, but because now they can just concentrate on getting this league game sorted and league position. But like I say, that is my biggest. That's my biggest worry now. That Everton are going to go in the lead on Saturday against Leicester, and no one's going to be able to relax. Um, people will say it doesn't happen. It does. I've been a season ticket holder in the Park End. I get to as many games as I can, and I've seen it. I've seen that negative energy go onto the pitch. Tell you what, you go and watch a home game from Everton at home, and then you go and watch Everton away, because the fans that are away are behind that team 100%. Now, I'm not saying the home fans are not behind the team, because I know for a fact they are. But what I'm saying is that portion of fans that go to home and away games, they're there and they're not groaning at every back pass, and it's like the Everton players have got some freedom. They've got they can play the way they want without anyone, without hearing them groans. And I do think on Saturday that is the biggest fear. I don't know. Are we calling these games 6 pointers already? Because it might not be a must win, but it's definitely a must not lose. One win will get Everton out of the relegation zone, but if they lose, they're gonna start drifting. It's not a great position for Everton to be in, and they are really, really gonna have to change their ways before it's too late, because it will get to a point where it is going to be too late. So Everton need to make a decision on this management situation, and they need to do it sooner rather than later, in my opinion, because he's he's proved to me, Sean Dyche has proved to me that he's just not up for it. Numerous times there's been bad substitutions, and I do think it's got to change. And it's quite hard as well, because last season, I thought most of the season, Sean Dyche's management skills they were okay, but this season he persists to play Michael Keane. He persists to play Ashley Young. Why? You've got a brand new centre back, 6'6", on the bench. He's fit. He's ready to go. Why are you playing Michael Keane when you've got him there? He's himself in the French league. I don't know why he hasn't been starting him, and he's starting Michael Keane. He's bigger and he's stronger than Michael Keane by the looks of it. So I just don't get why he persists on playing Michael Keane every game. Like I said earlier, I hate going in on Michael Keane, because he has scored some really important goals for us over his career. Like I say, the Crystal Palace one is the first one that springs to mind when we come back to. His goal ignited that and got it going. But you got Jake O'Brien there, ready to go, just slotting in. The other one is Ashley Young. It's a bit more difficult because obviously Coleman's injured, Patterson's injured. What do you do? You could always put James Garner at right back. You probably get uh, a better return. But it feels like I am absolutely better than this Everton side. Um, do you know what? I am, because the performances they've given this season at times let them lead to it. They deserve to. They deserve this berating off people. It's not. It's not all down to the manager. The players have got to take a certain accountability. But when you 1-1 at home and you're taking off a striker who wasn't injured, by the way, taking off a striker and putting on a defender, what do you expect people to think? Why take off Beckham and put Ashley Young on? Why? There was other attacking options on the bench, and he's decided to not to do them. He's decided Ashley Young was a good fit. Um, the bench was. I'm just looking at it again now. The bench was actually pretty thin, but Better never come off with an injury, so I'm not sure why he's done that. Was he scared of losing the game, and he's trying to shore the back line up, because make no bones about it, Southampton dominated the game last night. So we just need them three players. I'm guessing almost certainly Calvert-Lewin was one of the players that were ill. The saying that they were ill. And there was two others that were also missing. James Garner looked like he was missing there as well from the squad. And it looked like Garner Gay was missing as well. I don't know whether they're the three that were ill and unavailable. Another thing, you want to win a game and get some momentum. Why has he put his number one goalkeeper on the bench? Why? Or at least, why hasn't he put Pickford on when he knew it was going to penalties? In that 89th, 90th minute, why hasn't he made that change? Do you see? Do you see what I'm trying to say? All these things are just mounting up against them. Um, I'm not the first person to say this, but I do think that it's time to go. I don't know. In our poll, 60% of people say that Sean Dyche should be sacked. 40% say that he shouldn't be sacked. So it's pretty split. It's a little bit in favour of yes. If you're watching and you haven't took part in the poll, just click on yes or no. It'll either be there or there, whichever way you're watching. It'd just be interesting to see what you think, because we've had 5 votes on that so far. It'd just be interesting to see other people's opinions on it. This is Royston again. Leicester away is a 6 point game. Leicester have not won a game either. But if they win, they go 5 points clear. Yeah, they've drawn a couple of games, Leicester, haven't they? I think they were unlucky with one. I think they got a decision that went against them, like an offside, from getting a win, the first win in the season. So I think we do need, without doubt, it's a must not lose game. And it's sorry, I'm just checking the date. It's the 18th of November. and already we're saying must not lose games. What's going on? Must not lose game on the 18th of September. This is one of the worst starts to a season I can remember for Everton. It feels like, oh, that's a bit of a naughty message. It feels like we're back under Mike Walker. It's got Mike Walker vibes, and for people that aren't old enough to remember the Mike Walker days, trust me, you don't want to go there. Last day escapes from relegation, and we want to get away from that. But it does really feel like this is under Mike Walker era, to be honest. Um, do you think some of the squad players we've got, some of the players in the squad, are better than they actually perform sometimes? And it can be so frustrating. The first player that pops to mind when I say that, it's the first player that just pops straight into my head, Dwight McNeil. He's got a wonder of a left foot. You know, he works. I think he is one of the hardest workers in the team. If you watch him when he plays, he barely stops running, but just at times he doesn't influence the game in any way. And it's just frustrating because the left foot he's got is so superb. It's like he doesn't utilise it enough. And if he done that, I think he could be. I think he could be a really, 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 really player. And I noticed that they've started playing him in the number 10 role and having and on the right, on the left, excuse me, on the left. And that might actually benefit him. Obviously he scored against Villa, nice tidy finish. And he scored some brilliant goals for Everton. But this is just personal opinion. He doesn't do it often enough. And if we can get him doing it more often, I think the team will really benefit from that. And if he's starting in this number 10 role, the number 10 role, then I think it might actually be good for him, having Enzai run off him, giving him options, opening up space so he can get them shots off, and work that left foot. But I don't think at the moment, everyone wants to score more goals, but at the moment, we're scoring goals, maybe one or two or three. We're scoring goals. We're not keeping goals out. And this is the problem. Then plate as soon as you possibly can. But I'm sure everyone will agree. Do not rush him back because we don't want him to be out for longer than he actually needs to be. Use Jake O'Brien more, please. Just get rid of Michael Keane in the defence. I'm sure you all seen, or people went to the Aston Villa game, already seen it on Sky Sports. And their first goal, Ollie Watkins' header. Michael Keane's made a half-ass effort to jump, and you can just tell from watching that one frame of play, Ollie Watkins just wanted that ball so much more, and it resulted in a goal for Aston Villa, which obviously sparked their comeback. I'm just wondering, and I'm not saying that this would have made a blind bit of difference, but I'm just wondering if Jake O'Brien was on the pitch, the big 6'6" defender, is Ollie Watkins winning that header so easily? I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I'm not saying he wouldn't have scored. I'm not saying we wouldn't have got beat or whatever. But all as I am saying is if O'Brien or Brentford on that back post for that first goal, Ollie Watkins isn't having a more or less free header at goal. That's all I'm saying. Um, I think Michael Keane is time at Everton. Uh, you know, should be coming to an end in my opinion. He's heading towards the latter end of his career. As I say, and I'll say it again. At times, he has been a great servant to a football club, and he has had some really important goals to strike against Tottenham. I think it was last season, maybe the season before, and then obviously that Palace. He does chip in with the goals, and he chips in with the goals at crucial times. That's the key point. He's not adding to a 3 or 4 and 5 niller. He's scoring at crucial times when Everton really need the goal. So it's hard for me to totally go in on him, but I think it's time for the elders in the squad to step aside and bring this new blood in. I wouldn't mind seeing O'Brien and Brantwaite at the back just to see how it works. I know they're both young, but it wouldn't be the first young partnership at the back. Because the thing as well, James Tarkowski has been a shadow of his former self this season. Last season, he was pretty immense in most games. Uh, blocking shot, blocking shots, um, really doing his job well. But this season, I do think he's just been a shadow of his former self. And I think the whole team just need to kick up the arse. I do apologise, but I've been stewing on this now a couple of days. I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to do it. I was just going to leave it. And then last night happened, and I was like, that's it. That is it. I am going. I'm going on advance. So, James Tarkowski has been, I think he's been a shadow of his former self this season. He just needs to get back to the way he was last season. Uh, his leadership qualities were there last season, and his performances were there. But this season, not many of these players seem to have got going. And you know what really, 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 really pissed me off the other week? Everton played Tottenham. They got beat 4-0, and I'm pretty sure it was Seamus Coleman. We need to take a hard, long look in the mirror at ourselves. How many fucking times have we heard that? We need to take a long look in the. No, you just need to play football properly and stop fucking letting in goals. That's what you need to do. He said that on a number of occasions over the past few seasons, and it always pisses me off. No, you don't need to look in the mirror. You just need to work harder on the training ground and get some sort of solidarity together. Because at the moment, it's clear that you've got none because you keep fucking leaking goals left, right, and centre. Well done, Gareth. Haven't heard that one before. Hope you're enjoying the show. Sure you're having a right good laugh. Newcastle planned for land at Goodison. 2 up, 3 down. Yeah, we haven't heard that one before. And I was also say sack Dyche and get someone in with a young modern approach before it's too late. Say you can contribute positively. Say that is not a bad idea. Look at the Brighton manager. He's only 31. There's loads of young managers out there. Gary O'Neill. I think he's my age, about 40 or something. You know, uh, Wolves aren't doing the best at the moment, but I think Wolves were all right last season. Maybe that's the way we need to go. We need to do that. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. We're just I can still have a bit of banter, even though we're having an absolute we're having an absolute rant at the moment. Um, we just need Everton to sort this out, and it's not going to be a pretty go. Yeah, yeah. Just mentioned the Brighton manager there, and I don't know who manages WBA, but I know Gary O'Neill's the Wolves manager, and he's. I know Wolves aren't doing the best at the moment. I don't even know where Wolves are in the league. Let's just have a look. Yeah, Wolves are 18th. They've lost three and drawn one. Um, but I do agree. We need someone with a different philosophy in excuse me in in the game. Something I did want to mention actually as well is Carlo Ancelotti, when he was manager of us, had his lowest league finish in his career. Everton finished 10th, but now that looks like an absolute achievement since he's gone. Obviously, he went himself, we never got rid of him. But I just do not want to be in a relegation fight again. I would take a happily nice, quiet season finishing 12th. You know, it's the last season at Goodison Park. I think it's 125 years or thereabouts. And these players, they're just pissing me off. And I'm sick of talking about it. Anytime anyone wants to see me, anytime I've had this conversation in the street with so many people, and it's just, it just needs sorting. Right, we're not going to leave it on a negative note, so we're going to leave it on this. Let's hope that this happens. Um, Judging by Roma, these don't talk about. They'll be in. As I say, if you're joining the stream late, the Freaking Group have reignited the plan to buy Everton. They've done this with Roma before they took over Roma. If you look that up, it'll tell you exactly what happened. They went to Roma, they fueled their interest, and then they went back in and they purchased them. They've recently sacked Daniel Girassi, the former now Roma manager, because Roma are towards the bottom of the league and they haven't won a game, or they're not doing well, put it that way. And they've sacked him after 3 games. So they're showing that they're not an outfit that are going to mess about. They're going to be decisive, and they're going to do what it takes to succeed. And that is what Everton needs right now. They need a bit of decisiveness. They need a bit of leadership off the pitch, because you don't see any leadership on the pitch. I'm sorry, I don't see any. Well, there's no leadership on the pitch either. I don't see any leadership higher above. Is what I'm trying to say. Working on Bills at Leeds, went to Huddersfield and almost took them up. They need to look at something there, Gareth, because it's obviously not working with this new manager. Hopefully, we'll both be there. If we get there, we'll get tickets together. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there. Freed can group reignite their interest. to purchase Everton Football Club. Hopefully that happens and we can get this shit show sorted. I hope I haven't bored you too much or haven't gone on about it too much. It's just a bally, and it wasn't something that I've wanted to do, and it wasn't something that I wanted to do, or it's just last night's game and them substitutions just hit me over the edge, and here we are. But let's hope that this Friedkin or even John Texter at the moment, let's hope something happens and goes through and get a bit of positivity around the club again. Because at the moment, I don't think there's any. We are going to finish on this little note, actually. I didn't actually make it down myself. Oh, what have I done? Oh, press button. Sorry. I didn't actually make it down myself, but there was a remembrance visual thing for Kevin Campbell, the former Everton and Arsenal striker, down at St Luke's Church today at 2 o'clock. And that is how we'll leave this today. So rest in Campbell, and I hope that vigil today at St Luke's Church went really well. Take care, and we'll see you very soon.